What's up? How y'all doing? Welcome back. It's been a minute, but we're here. We didn't have a meetup this week, but it's all good. A lot going on. Um, for those that have been following, know who we are. We're Women in Linux. We talk about Linux technology, money, saving, inheritance, retirement, the whole nine. Um, Also conferences. For those that know, Red Hat will be in Atlanta May 11th, the week of May 11th. So some of us will be in the building. So you guys be on the lookout for the Red Hat conference. Um, they may let you watch the keynotes live. I don't think you can watch the other ones. But again, check out Red Hat in Atlanta May 11th. Red Hat Summit. Pull this over so you guys can see. So Red Hat Summit, May 11th in Atlanta, 4 days, hands-on training, real-world problems, industry, so forth and so on. But great place to connect, especially you're in Atlanta, especially those of y'all are out there. So again, I will be looking. There's always recruiters at the Red Hat Summit. Tickets now are now the standard are 2,003 passes. I don't know what this is. 3+ passes. I guess if you buy three or more, it's $7.99. I guess a piece. If you're buying that, let's go look at their catalog here to see what's cracking out there. Blow it up a little bit here. All right, so we got the breakfast on Tuesday. Let me go back on Monday. Um, see if they're starting. Monday starts should be starting it, so you may want to look and see what they doing on Sunday. Okay, because here's the OpenShift Commons happening from 1 to 2. Having a gathering day. Accelerate your growth. Monday at 1:30. The expo hall, gardening kits for kids. So this is the pre-conference stuff. I'm sure there's some stuff happening on Monday. I mean on Sunday as well. Accelerate innovation with virtualization. This is from CAE. I tell y'all about all these different all these different companies. CAE is another company where they're using Red Hat OpenShift virtualization to run against for Kubernetes and VMs for workloads and introducing AI. Vincent Price, Jeffrey Monton, and Dan, I guess, Briscu. This is a guy over at Red Hat. He's a sales specialist. So that's happening Monday from 2:15 to 2:55. Um, Virtual LLMs, working with two Red Hatters here. Code environment, digital identities for sovereign cloud. That's a big thing when we're talking about with Keycloak and so forth. Being able to pull down from LDAP your identities and so forth. From Fedora to Rail, building the future of enterprise Linux together. This is the leader from Fedora. Microservices and container platform enabled a seamless bank merger. Again, probably making the migration to containers and understanding the different patterns within microservices as well too. We'll talk about that. I'll get into that a little bit more. Working with Swift here, AI generated code, working with RISC-V, different architectures underneath for in this case chips, the state of Ansible, MCP server, Modernize your package manager with DNF. Observability for LLM inference, telemetry at scale, LMD, observability tools with LLM inference across hybrid cloud environments, metrics, latencies, or container CPU usage, and so forth. This is a lightning talk. It'll be interesting. I bet you this lightning talk here is probably a much longer talk. I wonder how much are they giving? They're giving them 15 minutes for this lightning talk. It's usually five. Well, they give them 20. It's usually 5 minutes for a lightning talk, but they're giving them a 20-minute session, and they're doing it on OpenShift AI. So this will be an interesting talk to me, especially for those that are looking at platforms and how GPUs are working with open telemetry, schedulers, routers, so forth and so on. That's a great one. Um, how Rail image mode delivers simple, reliable updates and stop system drift. Good one. Ansible fundamentals. Great one for you to go to learn how to write your first Ansible playbook, and then to walk around the conference and sit down and actually do the training as well too. So you have hands-on training there as well. They have hands-on labs. Architecting the future of AI with building repeatable AI platforms, automating the automators, monetizing the full life cycle of Ansible automation, so forth. So again, these are just talks that are on Monday. If you're flying in early, these are some great talks to check out. You wonder what RTX, meaning Raytheon, RTX automation journey from automating for one to automating for the enterprise. That is a good one. You get a chance to meet Eric Sipes or Sips, lead engineer at data center automation RTX from 315 to 355. If you're looking for a job, I will probably stay back and talk to him, especially if you're got your RHCE, you're looking to get into Raytheon. Here's an in. This is how you meet the folks, talk to them, see what they need on their teams, see where they're lacking, where their gaps at, what they're looking for people, what have you, what department they're in, so forth. So you got data center automation right here with RTX. Um, let me see, Cisco UCS, the EPEL. You guys should know about that. Instruct Lab. So those that have played with um various various like um labs from Hashi, they use Instruct Lab. A lot of people use Instruct Lab as well too, for that. SCCM, a lot of window folks should know that. GitHub, and COPR, CICD for Fedora remixing utilities, GraphRag, and then Hummingbird, the Project Hummingbird supply chain. I would look If I were you, this is one of the ones I would look into as well. Right. So a lot of goodness happening on Monday, for your sessions. Then you got Tuesday sessions where this will start your should Expo Hall. I don't see the keynotes on here. I guess this may be the keynotes opening at 8 a.m. Senior president and chief product officer. I'm assuming this is probably the keynote here. Yeah, this is the keynote section. So starting at the open doors open at 8. They kick off at 8:30. That'd be the hard part when they be at 8:30, 8 o'clock in the morning kicking off keynotes. You were like, good God. So um so just keep it in mind. And then Wednesday they have their keynotes as well. They're kicking off at 9 o'clock on Wednesday. Let me go back. Does it say 9 o'clock there? Yeah, 9 o'clock on Wednesday. And then Tuesday. And then Thursday, this is when everybody kind of filters out. Not really much happening. You get the tail end. Here's a lab. You don't even see any keynotes here. So these are lab sessions that they got going on on the last day, and that is on Thursday. So the last day they left open. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday is hot one. But then here are the labs here. So labs, OpenShift virtualization from 8 to 9:30. Let me see if you want to add the schedule. Yeah, I got to sign in. So you can add that to your schedule. I'm not sure if you got to pay for that lab. You may have to. Powered Red Hat Enterprise Linux Management, get hands on with MCP servers. I would take that most definitely. Network automation, unless you're like Cisco bound or something like that. Delivering more secure application baselines, dealing with images, that's a good one. Here's HashiCorp with Terraform, Vault, and Ansible. Great lab. That would be a good one. Here's and missed a lab you really wanted to take or saw one you want to take. You can now register for self-paced labs and come spend 90 minutes checking out the lab. And it's open from 8 a.m. to 9:30 on Monday. AI and 5G, Sirius Radio, Jude Hospital. These are breakout sessions that are still happening. Here's architecture and implementation best practices with OpenShift virtualization, OpenShift service, so forth and so on. All right. So what else out of this do you get? I need to sign in. Because Red Hat don't really post their stuff online. They really post their stuff on their website. They keep their stuff onto their website. Let me see if I can get logged in. And let me see. Let me see if I can browse the summits. Let me see if I can find their old summits. Let me see. Previous Red Hat summits. Mm-mm. That's 2015 and 2020. I'm looking for 2025. I'm looking to see if I can go back and pull their old ones. They may have them on their webpage now, but I know when I was looking at them, I always had to pull them from their from here. Let me. It says I'm not signed in, so I don't know why. I just signed in. All right. So now let me go. Let me go back to the session catalog. I'm signed in now. Hold on. I should be signed in over here too. Yeah. All right. So this is on Thursday. Let me look and see if I click to add to schedule. Booth staff passes only grant access to the expo hall. Not full event. Red Hat associates cannot pre-register. I'm not a Red Hat associate, but okay. But okay. I'll have to look at this to see. I'll probably have to go under another username and password to see if I can get in and schedule. I just want to see if you had to pay for it. That's why I was looking to see. I wanted to see if you had to pay for it. But I'll log in with something else to see if I can get in. Let me see. Let me sign out. Let me log out. I'm gonna try another username and password to log in. All right. Log in. I'll try this one. It may still be active. I'm not sure. Okay, that one is active. And then let me go to, and then let me hit Thursday. We'll close this one. This is a different account. And let me see when I hit add schedule. No results. I don't know why I don't have results. Oh, yeah, I don't know what that is. I have to call Redhead about that one. It's a other different account. Let me go over here. Let me see what happens when I do this. Yeah, I'll probably have to register for it, and they won't let me create anything until I register, which is fine. Sometimes they'll let you make one before and after. That's all good. But this is what is happening that week. Um, there's also events happening. So Red Hat events around the around it. Um, so everybody has a party. So the next big thing is who's having what around and what are people doing, right? Um, so let's see. So they got Red Hat Connect here. Let me go to that's 2025. That's all they have for that one. I was looking to see where all the parties are taking place because that's the other thing you want. The parties. Here it is. Red Hat events. I want to see if they got a listing of parties. Okay. No, these are just different events. So typically what happens is there's somebody will who's ever there. So say Pure Storage is there. They'll have a Pure Storage event. They'll showcase Pure Storage with Red Hat, and then they'll have food, or then they'll have some other event that you'll have to go to. So yeah. So that's another way to check it out. No, Pilot J, not everybody in the chat has their RHCSA, RHCE to attend the conference, not to get information. Like you're going to the conference to get information. So and you're going to check out to see what's happening. So it looks like Next Spot Labs is going to be at the conference as well, and I'm pretty sure you can look across all social media to see who's going to be there as well. So again, check out the events because the events are also a thing where you meet hiring managers or you meet people that are looking for team members or what have you. The other one is to check out the boards that are around, like there's a hiring board. So you can people go up and say, "Hey, I'm looking to hire blah 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 blah." So you want to go talk to that person because they're looking to hire someone for said team or for um said company. So that's another thing. And sometimes those folks do interviews on the spot. So, you know, just just an FYI on that. All right. All right. So let's get started on conversation here. So Ubuntu infrastructure has been down more than a day. This came out yesterday. I don't know if it's back up or not. But let's talk about it. Uh, you know, so outage hampered communication concerning critical vulnerability that gives root. We'll talk about this another one as well. Servers operated by Ubuntu and its parent company Canonical were knocked offline on Thursday morning and have remained down ever since. A situation that's preventing the OS provider from communicating normally followed the botched disclosure of a major vulnerability. Attempts to connect to most Ubuntu and Canonical web pages and download OS updates from the Ubuntu servers have consistently failed for the past 24 hours. Updates from mirror sites, however, have continued to work because the mirror sites just mirror. You can sign up and create you a actual you could create yourself an actual uh mirror server where you host out mirrors of Linux, different versions of Linux as well too. So and lock it down, right? Update mirror server however continue to normally work. So the question, if the mirrors are working, that means the mirrors contain the same vulnerability, probably within the ISO itself, because they probably have not released the latest and greatest update of that mirror server. So the mirrors are replicating the issue as well. Canonical's web infrastructure is under a sustained, excuse me, cross-border attack, and we are working to address it. Other than that, Ubuntu and Canonical officials have maintained radio silence since it began. A group sympathetic to Iranian government has taken credit for the outage, according to the posts on Telegram and other social media. The group is responsible for the DDoS attack using Beam, an operation that claims to test the ability of servers to operate under heavy loads, but like other stressors, are in fact fronts for services. Miscreants pay for the takedown take pay for for to take down third party sites. In recent days, the same pro Iranian group has taken credit for DDoSes on eBay. All right, so according to the moderator at askubuntu.com, URLs have remained unavailable for all of these here, including their CVEs there. Ubuntu and Canonical infrastructure went down hours after researchers released a potent exploit code that allowed untrusted users in data centers, university settings, and elsewhere to gain all powerful root controls of all servers, virtually all Linux distributions, including Ubuntu. And that brings me to this one here. This Linux exploit has been there since 2017. We are in 2027. So Linux exploit instantly gains administrator access on most distributions since 2017. Cryptography optimization snafu grants roots privilege to local users. It's quite interesting patch week for Linux. So anybody working data centers or whatnot, you're patching. You're probably patching right now. Hopefully somebody has released something because you're patching right now. Right? This Researchers at Zinc Code have discovered a nasty exploit that instantly grants root access to any local privileged user, a nightmare scenario for multi-user servers on various types, including web servers, container environments like Kubernetes, and CI/CD pipelines. So this affects everybody. AWS, it affects Azure, it affects Google Cloud, DigitalOcean, everybody. Anybody running Linux, right? The CVE is this one here, so we'll look at that CVE from the NVD database. I got it up. Exploit affects pretty much every Linux distro currently in use that has ever existed since 2017. Although it's not a 0 day and the kernel has already gotten a patch, the short disclosure window gave distro makers relatively little to no time to react. Affected variants included but are not limited to Ubuntu version 24, version 26 was just released last week, RHEL 10, SUSE 16, and Amazon Linux 2023. Even Windows WSL is affected. And all it takes is 732 bytes. To check that system is vulnerable, you can just run here, blah, 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 run that command. And though we should note that you're trusting an online script, the source for the proof of concept is available here. So they got a web page here. If you prefer, if the distro does not have a patch available, you can try one or two mitigation methods as well. All right. If your kernel loads I'll give a AAED as a module, A simple install, I'll give AED to bin false and then do a mod probe to disable that will suffice. Some distributions, however, compile the functionality right into the kernel core, including RHEL and WSL2. That means that in those instances, you have to resort to disallowing users to run AFLG sockets to begin with via set comp profiles, app armor, or SE Linux. All right, so you got to update your SE Linux. Here is the CVE vulnerability here that's been out there for 10 years. And this is how, as security engineers, you'll probably be looking at stuff, whether the base score is high, um, and then you'll be looking at the sources, his open wall, his the security, so forth, mailing list. Um, Here's kernel.org as well. And then here's the known exploit. What does it do? What happens? What's going on with it? And what is the known fix for it? And here's the fix for it here. They'll have that there. So everybody's twist lock should be flashing red. It should be going off, and people should be looking at stuff right now. They should be working overtime this weekend. All right, next up, everybody always asks about how to get into tech. What is it you got to do? Here's a way. The Department of War Cyber Apprentice Program here. This is posted in the RHCA CSA group right now. I posted it the other day. I'll post it here. You guys can check that out. But here is a way to get in and what they're looking for right here. And let me blow it up some more. I got the wrong screen blowing up here. All right, so they're looking for prepares entry level cyber positions within the Department of War, aligned to DOW 8140, that include but not limited to the cyber defense analyst, the cyber defense infrastructure, so support specialist, and cyber defense incident responder. You get paid, you get hands-on training, so forth and so on. They're trying to fill gaps. All you need to be is a U.S. citizen over the age of 18, ability to attain a clearance, exhibit strong work ethic, eager to grow, eager to learn, willingness to be mobile and flexible, ability to commit to DOW, and so forth. And then let me click on here. Oh yeah, one. It's no clicking here. I didn't know if the 521 was a position title, if that's the number of people they needed. But you guys can go check that out for yourself. Everything is out there for you to go check out. All right. So let me make my screen smaller here. My screen was huge. And let me refresh. All right. Next up, the ongoing debate of degrees versus no degrees. So I figured I would do some interesting takes here on this. Bachelor's degrees with the highest and the lowest return on investment, from computer science to theology. What do you think came in as number one? Put in the chat what you think came in as number one. And this was published April the 22nd of 2026. So you may already know. So let me scroll down here. All right. College graduates with theology and religion generally have the lowest return on their investment when compared to student debt with their wages after 10 years. Computer science graduates typically have the highest return on investment and profit post graduation. While investing in college is a risk, most graduates will earn more than their high school graduate counterparts. There's no stopping that. I don't know how the everyone tells you, right? Care tech support, thank you. IT support, thank you for your super chat, and thank you for your ties, your tech ties, as Dion like to call. Um, we can have this debate. But the numbers show and have clearly shown, and I don't like to not talk without the numbers. All right. So let me do that right now. Uh, and we'll pull it up. And it comes from the Department of Labor. We don't have to like debate this, right? So I'm just gonna take this, and I've done shows on this plenty of times. I got plenty of information on this, but degree holders earn a median of 2.8 million, just a median, right? Um, Lifetime earnings of 2.8 million for degree holders, and then those that have that are high school graduates, approximately 1.2 million more than high school graduates who roughly earn 1.6 million. So almost twice. While non-degree holders have lower average earnings, specific vocational or trade skills can offer competitive pay. Degree holders generally benefit from lower unemployment and higher long-term wage growth. And it's not about what you earn when you first get out, it's what you earn over time. And that's the conversation that always gets missed, is how much you earn over time, right? So if you are seeing someone like working in Amazon warehouse or working at whatever, there are gaps in employment, there are missed opportunities of growth in salary, because a lot of people have sat there for a long time. Jerome, you're saying you're an anomaly. It's not the fact that you're an anomaly. You're in a career field that pays. So you're in tech, but remove you from tech and say you go and work for Dollar General and you are a cashier, or you go overnight stocking in Walmart. Yes, they pay, but over time, the acceleration of your salary and the acceleration of your pay is totally different than someone who worked in tech, right? And that's the big problem. Is it's not that you don't get paid, it's the acceleration of your money. And also the ability to maneuver as well in said different different companies, or move on to different companies based on your experience. That's usually the issue there. So typically speaking, it pays, right? Yes. So like I said, I was working in tech before I had my degree, but I still ended up getting my degree. But but I do know the difference in me not having a degree versus me having a degree. Me having a degree, I didn't get overlooked for positions. Me not having a degree, I did get overlooked for positions. And let's count in the fact of multiple things there. You can count in a minority, you can count in experience, you can count in time, you can count in other things that people say. Let me say it that way, that people say. Right. All right. So one of the big things that out of this I always want people to take home is you can do whatever you want to in life. Like, I'm not telling you uh what works and what doesn't work. I can only tell you what worked for me. I can only tell you what I have seen when it comes down to interviews. I have never been in an interview or been part of an interview in any tech company where they say, "Oh, look, this person don't have a degree. We're gonna hire them." I just have never seen that. Everyone that comes over has a degree, right? I've never seen no one say, "Well, they got experience, and we're gonna take that experience." The only way that happens is a network, and that they like each other and they just trying to get that person a shot and so forth and so on. That's just the truth. I've never seen anyone say, um, I let me say it this way. I have seen people say, Oh my goodness, they went to Dartmouth. Oh, they went to Cornell. Oh, they went to Stanford. Oh, they went to Yale. Oh, they did this. I have seen that. I have never seen anyone say, look at all the years of experience that they got and we should hire them. I have seen people say, look at all the years of experience they have. Why should we hire them? And especially if it shows that you're stagnant across your resume. So those are the things that I've seen. And from the interview processes that I've seen, it is also about who you know and and who likes you. Mm, you can know people and the rest of the team don't like you. So there's oil and water there. So I'm just pointing these things out. So I think it behooves us to keep pushing education because I just don't see, and I could be wrong in 10 years. I just don't see a lot of people going out, being an electrician, working in HVAC, plumbing, what have you, and then rolling into their own businesses or acquiring businesses. I don't see that. Um, there will be a percentage that do it, but it won't be a large percentage that do that. So the issue that I have with like, oh yeah, go down the route of pushing the trades is there is also a ceiling when it comes to that because if you are working for someone, that person is going to that person is going you're still working for someone. You're not 1099. Some of you can be and some of you are not, but most people are looking for a way to have benefits, a way to have a retirement plan, a way to support their family, right? So if you factor in insurance, if you factor in the cost to be bonded, if you factor in the cost of everything else, you're going to have to start charging premium. And then you got to look at across the landscape what is really premium in your area and how are you going to be unique in your area. I'm just I just see it as I see it and I think that we're giving I think we want to give a pass. Let me say it again, mm, a different way. I think we want to give a pass to literacy rates, right? If I'm good with my hands and I understand how things flow, I don't have to pick up this book and read it because I understand how it works. But if I can't read the latest and greatest stuff that came out and technology is expanding in my preview, like from being just a regular analog camera to being this different camera to being that different camera, that it changes things. So the people who know how to read, who know how to implement things, who know how to take things in, that shit changes. That shit changes. It changes the game. Because now not only are you understanding how to implement things, you understand how to scale things. Like reading, math, literacy rates are trash. And I know everybody saw the viral video with kids. They couldn't read. They didn't know what a silhouette was. They didn't know what extraordinary meant. They didn't know what the sentence meant. Y'all saw that, right? I know you guys saw that, right? If not, let me help you. Uh, do 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 do. Let me see if I can find it. Mm. I can't find that video. I know that video went viral. I can't find the video. Let me look at shorts. Because it was just one of those videos that you're just like, what do you mean you don't know what that word means? And why you don't know what that word means? And why you running from reading? Like I said, y'all better start taking people on dates and having them read out loud. Let me see if I can find the video. I don't want to pull the one with Anton on there. I want the original video. I don't want the one with Anton on there. Let's see videos. Collapse, misery sign, blah blah blah. Kids can't read. I mean, adults can't read either. They should start stopping adults and asking them to read some stuff, and I bet you would get the same thing. I bet you would get the same uh video. Let me see. Let me go this week. I can't believe I can't even find the video. I bet y'all I can go on Instagram and find it or TikTok and find it, but I can't find it on YouTube without uh let me see. I'll just use it for now. Let me pull it up.
Read the ending score for me.
She wore a school clothes that were. Who's this for? Extraordinary, but somewhat Gertrude?
No, explain what that means.
I don't know.
She wore a sahalat of clothes that were extraordinary, whatever, bro, but somewhat. What does that mean? She wore a lot. Wait, she wore. Bro, I don't know, bro. Can you take the card back, please?
She wore a. Oh, baby. She wore a silhouette of clothes that were. Bitch, I don't know that word. I don't even know how to read. I don't know why I did.
She wore a silhouette of clothes that were extraordinary, but somewhat gauche. All right, now what does that mean? I have no idea.
Listen, I see some of y'all say y'all don't blame the kids. I blame everybody, including the kids. I don't give a damn what y'all talking about. I don't give a damn what y'all talking about. Listen, it's my own story, and I told this story before. My mom took me. I was a kid. And I was in the nursery, and my mom took me. My mom took me out of the nursery because they said she too old to keep coming here. She too old to come to the nursery. So my mom took me out, and it was like it's time for her to go to school. So I went to school. Because of my age, they enrolled me in the second grade. So I'm in the second grade. They go around, you know how the teachers used to do back then. They were like, such and such, Kim, read the first page, blah 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 blah. Kim reads the first page. John reads the second page. Tony reads the third page. I'm like, things going good. Okay, I'm seeing what they're doing. I'm picking up what they're putting down. We about to learn. We about to be on that shit. Yep. They was like, Tameika, read the fourth page. Tamika was like, yeah, let me just make up some shit because I don't know what it is, but I'm make it sound good. They went back and put me in special ed. And with special ed, back in the day, it was special ed. You went to the classroom, y'all went to eat lunch early, y'all hold hands when you walking down the hallway in a single file line. I said to myself, ain't no motherfucking way. Ain't no motherfucking way. I'm finna keep doing this. Ain't no motherfucking way. I'm not. You know what I did? And so when my mom found out, she was like, "So y'all weren't reading at the school?" I'm like, "You put me in there. Hell, I just went. You dropped me off. I go." She's like, "So y'all didn't do no reading class?" I'm like, "Was I supposed to be looking out for reading? Because I don't know. I'm a child. You the mom." Man, my mom went to Barnes and Noble and got like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Mickey Mouse, Raggedy Ann, uh, everything you can think of. And every night I sat down and I read with her. Thank God for PBS as well, because I also was the summer kid. Do 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 do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Electric company, all of that. I did not want to be in special ed. I am not holding no hands. I made sure I learned words. I made sure I learned how to sound them out. But you had to have something in you as well to want to read and learn. And then I started, once I figured out how things flow, how things work. My math came up. I made sure I was like getting A's in math, getting A's in reading, getting A's in this. Listen, these kids are old enough where they should want to know how to read. That's just the facts. Y'all just keep saying that it's the parents' fault, but it's also the kid fault too. At some point, you got to be like, "Yo, why I don't know this word and why I don't know what this means, and let me go get a dictionary and let me go improve. Like, let me come back to you." Right? Like you guys will make excuses. Like, nah, hell no. Fantasia even had to go back. Shit. If you want me, shit, your ass went back to school. Shit. Y'all make excuses for everybody. The library is down the street. The library is right down the street. Just go spend some time there. Join the book club. Join the library. You can even sign up on the library online. And then in some communities, they just put books in like a little bookcase and you can just walk up to it and read it and return it. But you got to be willing to do that yourself. Y'all not willing to get out there and do it yourself. Guess what keep happening? Walk on by. They just gonna keep walking by. You're gonna be wondering and sitting on the sidelines while you got people earning more than you because you can't read. You don't even understand 1/8 versus 1/4 versus a quarter. Can't be sitting up here talking about you gonna put in a quarter and you be like, "What's a quarter? How I do that?" You know what? These phones saving y'all. In fact, they making you, some of y'all dumb. Y'all can't y'all back in the day. It wasn't no phone. You had to either write it in a phone book or you memorize people phone numbers. I memorized numbers left and right. Me and y'all ain't smooth, right? When y'all in the club and you ask a girl for a number, let me go get a napkin. You write a number down on the napkin. I'm smooth with it. I'm like, give me your phone number. Man, give me his number. 44244 1491. I'm like, what's your number? 24, I get 44244 1491. I be like, okay, your number is, if we go backwards, 1941 4442 404. And if it's 444 244 1491. And he was like, how you do that? I'm like, man, you come up to me 30 minutes, an hour from now. I done said it backwards and forwards so many times that I just understand the cadence of the number. So now I just got it. You gotta be smooth with it. Y'all gotta understand the smoothness. Y'all be sitting up here, Siri, which one is bigger? 1/8 or 1/4? Yep, Scruff McGruff, the crime dog. Come on, man. Y'all gotta get with it. Y'all gotta go back to the basics. I I'm okay that y'all took cursive out, because now I'm just gonna write in cursive and everything. Like, what that say? I don't know what that say. What she saying? Why she gotta write like that? Let me read some of y'all comments. Yep. A Purple Rain, you said, but what if the schools are underperforming and underfunded? I don't care if the schools are underperforming and underfunded. I'm still me as the child. Like, for me, I'm gonna hold myself accountable. I'm not waiting on the school to teach, right? You gotta go in there and, like, again, all schools don't have libraries and so forth and so on, but the community has a library. Go to the community library. Go learn, go read. All the state funded schools around here, the Georgia States, the Georgia Techs, and all that. You can walk into those actual um those colleges and get you an account and set up and go in there and start reading and learning. What's the other one? If you join the union, you got to do 4 to 5 years. Blah 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 blah. Yep, it's everybody problem. I can understand why some parents don't go to teacher parent conferences. I understand that because they're working, they can't make it, blah blah blah. I get that. However, it's nothing wrong with having a teacher parent and this is where I blame teachers too. There's nothing wrong with having virtual teacher parent conferences, right? Where maybe you guys do something virtual, um, you get something on, or hey, I know you weren't able to make it. I'm gonna do this recording of where your kid is failing at. Here's the link. Here's everything that you need to know. Blah 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 blah. And then when the parent get home, the parent can go back and look at the recording and then go from there. I don't know. I don't have no kids, so I don't know how people are doing it now. But in my mind, there should never be a teacher parent conference missed, or some type of communication missed where you can't communicate out. I don't know what Heim framework. I don't know what them bad kids hit. The libraries are closing, but not in the schools. Maybe in the community, some of them are closing. Let me tell you, my grandmother had a third grade education, and my mom went on to college and graduated from college. Like I said, defeating the odds. So you're supposed to do better than the last generation. Again, that generation knew they had to get some education. They knew they had to read. They knew they had to vote. They knew they had to do things. So again, we can hold excuses if we want to. Yeah, I know they can't do their timetable. Adrian, you said the parents can't read. There are plenty of adult literacy programs. People will seek the information they want. We have to accept that many will be left behind because of the lack of accountability or the lack of want. Jerome, you said that's what I'm saying. You can't be the journeyman or the master of any trade if you can't read plans and blueprints. That's what I've been saying. If you can't read and you can't calculate, trading ain't gonna help you. It'll help you get some money, right? I'm gonna give you a prime example. So I was fixing my pool up, leaking the pool. Guy come over. I'm like, pool still leaking, this, that, another, whatever. I say, yeah, man. I say, man, go ahead and seal up these jets, this, that, another. So he comes over. He's like, yeah. He talking. He's like, so you want me to seal up all the jets? Which jets you want me to seal up? All of them. Okay, you want me to do all of them? Yeah, do all of them. So he said, yeah, man. He got me over here, it's my fault that I left that water on. So he got me over here doing it for free. I said, oh no, he charging me. He charging me $800. He having you do it for free. I said, you 1099? He said, yeah. He said, so he charging you? I said, yeah. You just not getting paid for it. But you over here doing the work and you not getting paid. And you brought somebody else to help you do the work and you not getting paid. And he's like, so this guy just he ain't gonna pay me? No, you already signed up for it. I said, but that's between you and him. I'm just letting you know that he charging me for this work. So he taking whatever it is that water that you left on, he taking it out of your pocket and having you do the work for free. But he didn't even know that he was coming over here to do the work for free. Well, he knew he was coming to do it free. He didn't know I was getting charged. That's how it works. You may know how to do something, but you're still working for somebody else, even as a skills tradesman. So they can call the shots how they want to call the shots. So it's not just knowing how to do the work, it's understanding the business side of the work as well. How to put in the orders, how to respond, how to keep the website up. How do you get hits off your website? How do you keep people coming to your website? How do you keep people referring you out? Discounts on referrals if you have to. How do you keep that up? And that's where a lot of people fail at. They don't understand yeah, you're a journeyman and yeah, you got a tradesman, but there's a business side of it. And if you don't understand the business side of it, then that person that charged you may get paid. That person may get paid $800. And I told him and said, yeah, he charging me 800. He's like 800. He's like, I don't charge that much to do this work. I was like, well, you need to go back and talk your numbers. He's like, man, how much he charge you to do this work? I was like, you don't know how much you charge? How much he charge? How much he pay you? That's the other part that y'all don't get. Y'all be out here doing all these little trades, like, oh yeah, I got some money coming in. Yeah, he gonna pay me today. Yeah, he gonna pay me $1,500. That's great. Give you another example. Getting the house fixed in Atlanta. I was like, hey, let me go and get the driveway and everything pressure washed, get my cars washed, this, that, and other. Guy come over, he washing the car. He washing the car. He bring another little buddy over there to wash the car. The other little buddy, they don't have on no uniform. They not uniform together. They ain't got on the same shirts. They pants is raggedy. He got holes, the slits in them, this, that, and the other. The other little buddy, he washing the car. His butt hanging out. I see the crack of his ass while he washing the car, while he bending down. I'm like, okay. Then then they get I go outside, I come back out. I said, let me go out here and see what they doing to these cars. So I go outside. He literally out there done cut up some towels and he out there wiping my car down. I said, hey, man, hey, stop. They say, what's wrong? I say, where your microfiber towel? I was like, where she find Pookie and Bebe at? They don't know nothing about no microfiber towel. I'm looking at the cars. They don't wipe them down, but you can see where they tried to dry it, but it's done dried up. Cause then it came over too late. You was supposed to be here at 10. You didn't get here to 2. You don't have your own water. Your pressure washer barely work. You're using my water. You don't even have the right chemicals to do what you need to do. You don't even have the right microfiber towel. You don't have a business. You show up in a U-Haul, they just got a pressure washer that you got riding around in the back. It don't have no, it ain't got no, it ain't got nothing, it ain't got no shelves in it or nothing like that where you done overhauled the U-Haul. You ain't got none of that. He like, I'm looking to get me a box truck. I'm like, what? What is this? So then he go, I said, man, hey, man, I got 4 microfiber towels in the car. Wash this car back down. And then here, take this microfiber towel and let me show you. You got to fold it into 4s. Then once you do that, you wipe this side down. I say you got to wipe down, and then you go and fold the other side, and then you do the other sides that way. I said I gave you 4 microfiber towels for this car. You should be able to knock this car out with those microfiber towels. The reason why that you're not drying is because that towel that you have is holding the water, and it's not drying it off. I was like, and you're leaving swirl marks on the car. He was like, yeah, but I was like, what about those swirl marks? How we get them out? I was like, man, you're gonna have to go back and clay bar this down. Then you gotta go get some wax, and you're gonna have to go get the hand wax, and then you're gonna have to go through and wax that out of there. He was like, you sound like you know what you're talking about. You gotta teach me how to be in the business. You got no, no, no. There's a difference between washing a car and detailing a car, and you don't even wash a car good. You're not even doing that good. I'm telling you how you do, and I'm like, why his ass always hanging out? Like then next day, I said, man, I need this driveway and stuff pressure washed. Blah 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 blah. That pressure wash started on Tuesday. It took him to Friday to finish pressure washing. You know why? Because his pressure washer kept running out. It wouldn't start. It wouldn't do this. It wouldn't do that. It wouldn't do this. It wouldn't do that. It wouldn't do this. I said, man, look, it sounds like that pressure washer that you got, it sounds like the carburetor going out on it. I said, because it won't hold. And he was like, you don't know what you're talking about. I said, dude, he had to call it one of his cousins over there. He would go calling somebody to a client house. Again, I don't know him. I hired you. I don't know him. Why you having all these strange folks come and stop by my house? So I had got somebody to come over here. So the next thing you go, he coming over, and the guy was like, "Yeah, man, I think this thing is out." He said, "Can I borrow some of your oil?" It was, "Can I borrow some of your oil? You got some extra gas? I need to borrow some of your gas. You got some water? You got something for me to drink? I'm hungry. You ain't got nothing to eat." Wait a minute. I'm paying you to do a job. I'm not here to feed you, give you something to drink, make sure you got some cold. What is going on here? This how I know when y'all talk about these trades, that shit sounds stupid to me. Cause I know, and this ain't just in Atlanta. This happened in Florida. It happened when I was in Colorado. Every time. Every time I try to hire somebody, they ain't got something. Like Dion say, you go to a Jamaican spot, you gonna get maybe a beef patty, but they ain't got no jerk chicken, but they got vegetables. They ain't got no curry goat, but they got the curve. I'm so tired of y'all. I'm so sick of y'all. Irks me. So next thing, I said, "Hey man, friend, come over." They did it. He put some he put some uh he put some gas on the filter, crank right up, and then that thing got to go. I was like, man, turn that shit off. That don't sound good. You know what I did? I bought me a whole new, I bought my own pressure washer, and I have one here in Florida. I went and bought my own pressure washer. I say, where did you get this Subaru pressure washer from? EV 170 pressure washer. He's like, this thing good. This 2400 PSI. I was like, this 34. And I was like, there's a 4400 one as well too. I was like, what are you doing with this pressure washer here? He was like, oh. So then he was like, man, he's like, look, I gotta run to another client. So what I was thinking was, since you got your pressure washer, I just take your pressure washer that you got and take it over to the client house and do it over there, and then come back, and then I finish you off over here. I was like, so you want me to take my pressure washer brand new out the box with a warranty on it and give it to you, so you can go run to another client. And mind you, you using my water, you ain't bringing your own, and so you can go do another one, another person. He said, yeah, I actually got two people I gotta do. So then he hits me with the this is all comical. Then he hits me with he's like, hey, can you cash out my buddy $25 because I owe him $25 to keep this U-Haul, right? So just cash app him 25. I said, you want me to cash app somebody else $25? I said, is this on top of what you owe? He's like, if you don't mind. Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you, this is true. This happened. Then, so let me see. Hold on. See, I had to do it twice. He's like, cause this for my that he rent. I said, well, who rent the U-Haul? He said, oh no, them my boy. He rent the U-Haul for us to drive around. And I'm like, well, what's in the U-Haul? So finally, I go look in the U-Haul. Ain't nothing in the U-Haul. I'm like, why do y'all keep renting this U-Haul? Is this U-Haul stolen? I have questions. What U-Haul cost $25 for y'all to be riding around in this all day? What you? I don't know no U-Haul that costs 25. So then let's keep going. Then he's like, I'm gonna do your garage. I'm gonna do your garage. I said, dude, I said, listen. I said, you can't just come in here and pressure wash because it got oil on it. You're gonna need to get something to soak that stuff up. I was like, well, I'm gonna let you do what you do because you gotta do the driveway and all that shit anyway, right? So this what he did. He come over, he put acid down again. What do the pressure washer do? He was like, can I use yours? And I was like, nah, I'm good on that. You need to figure yours out. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna go around here. My daddy got a commercial one, so I'm gonna go over there and get the commercial one. So he leave again. He leave. He come back. He said before he was like well, when I get back, are you gonna have something to eat or what? I'm like, I'm gonna have something to eat, not you. So he come back. Now, mind you, let's be clear. He charged me $500 to pressure wash the driveway, the sidewalk, and the garage. And he's like, look it up in this area. I'm getting you a good deal. I said, I still got a water bill that I gotta do. So he put the little acid down, couldn't get it up, couldn't get the pressure washer to work. So he come back. So he come back. Now he don't want to take everything out of the garage. Now he's like, I already did the corner. I said, yeah, but it's gonna be water that's gonna be seeping under the boxes and so forth and so on. This, that, and other. So I'm like, okay, you ain't gotta take all that out, man. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you on this, that, and other. So then I come back out. I'm like, I told you this stuff wasn't gonna come up. How he's like, yeah, I thought this was gonna come up. Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's probably gonna have to get painted, this, that, and the other. He was like, I can paint. I was like, no, sir, no, we've done enough with you. It's okay. He's like, well, he's like, can you go ahead and cash at me $125? He's like, I got the money for. I gotta have money for the U-Haul, and then the extra 100 is because I put in work. I said, nigga, get out of here. That's literally what I said. Nigga, get out of here. You're not getting no money out of me. I was like, you already charged me 220, 250. I like, you made $1,000 off of me this week. I was like, and I said, you know what? I'm being nice to you. I said, he was like, what you mean? I was like, I said, I'm being nice to you. I said, I want to see you win. I said, but let me give you some game. I said, stop going to people's house with a U-Haul. Don't bring nobody else over to nobody's house. They don't have no clothes on it. I was like, then on top of all of that, you need to understand how to set your prices up. Where your website at? You ain't got no website. You ain't got no card. And I said, on top of all of that, when I try to cash app you, I can't cash app you. He said, but I got a chime. I said, go get you a square. You don't even have proper business etiquette to even move forward with things. He's like, but that's why I need you. Help me get my business off the ground. Help me get my business off the ground. Help me. I was like, why I gotta help you? I was like, don't you got a girl and your daddy and all your boys? Why I gotta help you? He was like, because you know what the game is out here. You can help me get my website up, and you can help me with my stuff. What? How was you doing this beforehand? He was like, see, y'all don't even want to look out for a brother. You don't need. I said, you just made $1,000 off of me this week, and I don't want to look out for you. I gave you a case of Coca-Cola. I gave you some water. I even let you borrow my oil. I even let you borrow my oil. Like what you talking about? Shout out to AMW Films. Thank you. Yep, man. Look, all is well. I just been like trying to figure out what I need to do. And then work has been a lot. So, I've been going back and forth. So it is what it is. So amongst all of that, he hit me up and he was like, so you really not gonna send that 125? I said, please consider yourself blocked. No, I didn't give him that. I ain't getting no oil back. No, I ain't getting no oil back. Kick him off the premises. But this is the when I think of trades, this is what I think of. All right. So let's talk about even more about the trades, right? So I said, oh, let me get this riding lawnmower fixed. Call Sears Appliance, let me see what they can do, blah, 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 blah. Guy come out. He was like, yeah, I don't think this gonna ever work again. I was like, it's funny because it just worked maybe a month or two ago, and we got a cut out of it. So I said, it's a brand new battery on there. I said, we cleaned out the carburetor. It's not starting back up. I was like, maybe you can maybe do something with the battery. I don't know why the battery keep draining, blah 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 blah, and get it going. He was like, yeah, I don't know. I said, it might need a new carburetor because we did put some gasoline down in there, cleaned it out, put it back together. It just may be out, X, Y, and Z. So he was like, I'll take a look at it. Look, let me change out some spark plugs. Blah blah blah. I said, okay, no problem. You know what he came back and said? The carburetor bad. I said, okay. I said, are you an independent contractor or you work directly for them? He's like, no, I work directly for them. I said, now he could be lying. But I said, oh, okay. I said, so what we got to do with this carburetor? Now, small engine, riding lawnmower, carburetor, Ace Hardware up the street, Lowe's, Home Depot. Run you about 200, if that. Let me look. I ain't even looking at it. Let me not lie. Let me not lie. Cheaper than that. Carburetor. Small little carburetor. For a craftsman. And then this a riding lawnmower. I forget which version it is. I'm just trying to look. 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 We're gonna go with 150 at the most, right? That's a part, right? We'll say 150 at the most. You know, he came back and said, put in the chat the number he came back and said. $500 was the number. 500. I said, I said, who making the money? Who is making the money? Are you making the money? Because if you're not an independent contractor, then you're not getting no money off of this. So who making the money? And if you getting paid by the hour, who making the money? I got questions. That's why I say this independent contractor, this tradesman thing, this life. If you working for someone and they're not telling you what they're charging, you ain't making no money. You might as well go work W-2 somewhere. What are you doing? What are we doing? So I said, oh, okay. I said, so is that gonna be today? Are you gonna go up to Ace and get it? He's like, nah, we gotta order that part. I was like, well, I said, can you give me the part number? Because I can go look online and get the part here before you leave. He's like, yeah, you know, these things take time. I'm like, no, they don't. Ace Hardware up the street. We can get this. We can get this shipped here today. You ain't gotta come back. I want you to do it today. Really, I want you to do it today. So he was like, he was looking. He was like, well, you know, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something. It's gonna be a lot of work here. I was like, it ain't a lot of work to take that carburetor off. I said, I open it up. I like the carburetor right here. Here's what you need right here. Boom. What is it? What you mean you gonna take a lot of work to take that off? Gonna take a lot of work to take that off? I just took it off. And I took it off beforehand. What are you talking about? So then he was like, let me go ahead and put the order in, this, that, and the other. I said, man, whatever, man. Just get the shit fixed. So then I say, hey, let me see what's wrong with the spigot in the front. Again, I was like, I don't know. My mom didn't tell me. I never really knew. And then she did tell me, I forgot. So, nah, this is a different guy. So the other two, those are two different guys. It's a third guy. So I said, let me call a plumber. Plumber comes over. He looks and gives an assessment. He's like, I gotta go inside. I'm like, okay. I was like, well, the spigot is outside. What you gotta go inside and see? He's like, well, I need to see, how everything gets connected. I was like, well, there's a wall right there. I could tell you is you ain't gonna be able to see what you think you're gonna see, but okay. So anyway, he go downstairs. He turns the water on. He's like, oh look, we got some water coming out. I said, oh okay. He said, but it seems like it got twisted and it's turned, and so you gonna need a new spigot. I said, yeah. I looked at the price of a new spigot, so that's what it sounded like it needed. He's like, yeah, but it seemed like it got turned. So he gives me a quote. He says it's $79 for us to come out uh for the first visit, but it's $189 for my assessment and so forth. I said, oh, here we go. So he gives me his assessment. Once he gives me his assessment, he was like, so now the big bill is this. He said, now I'm gonna have to come inside and I'm gonna have to cut out a hole inside of in here, and then I'm gonna have to go in and pull that off. And I said, but the piping is outside. I said, I don't understand why you need to come inside to do that. He's like, cause I gotta cut a hole out, and then I gotta get another. I gotta get me another pipe, and then I gotta solder that on, and then continue to go on because we don't know how it's gonna go. We don't know if it go down and then back up and so forth and so on. I said, oh okay. I said, well, go ahead and just give me the quote. This then he's like, you don't want me to do it? I was like, no, not for 800. I said that seems like an exuberant amount of money when you can go outside and just pull the siding off, the two boards off, and then you can take and cut out outside, and then whatever you need, the piping that you need, you can just run up there to Home Depot and get the piping that you need, solder it on, because I have a soldering kit here where you can solder that on, and then take this spigot and put that spigot on top. And that's not $200 right there. That's a good 300, man, if that. I say, so that don't seem like that's kind of work that you're gonna be doing here. He said, well, we got guaranteed work here. This is I'm a plumber, okay, and I know what I'm talking about. I said, it sounds good, but you won't get that from me. So that's not gonna be what you're gonna do for me. And so then he proceeds to tell me, he was like, yeah, he's like, well, once we get that done, there are other things that I see on the property that need to get done. I say it won't be done by you, sir. Have a nice day. So you got that one. The next one up, call the electrician. Let's get an electrician out here. Let's see what's happening, what's going on. Electrician comes out. I'm like, hey, this ain't working. Can you look at it and tell me what's going on? He looks at it, he tells me what's going on. He said, you need to get uh a new bell. I said, okay, cool, no problem. I get a new bell, blah 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 blah. So he's like, yeah. He said, just call your handyman for that. You ain't gotta worry about all that. Um, I'm a handyman can do that. I said, okay. He said, but let me take a look at your let me take a look at your what's the word I want? Electrical board. I just forget the proper name right now. Anyway, he goes out, he looks at it. He's like, yeah, it's a GE. Those things last a lifetime. They don't ever go out. He said, but you want to go ahead and get the breaker. He's like, go ahead and get some of the fuses and stuff taken care of, and get that up to date, this, that, and other. He said, but those things don't ever go out. You ever rarely have a problem with a G. They just work. Okay? They just work. So he's like, but let me give you a quote for a new breaker. I was like, okay, let me see what he's talking about. So he said I get an email. I'm on the phone with Dion. I get an email like $1,700 for this visit. What the hell? So I was like, okay. I said, is this $1,700 for the visit? For you to tell me that I need to get something new, but you're not gonna replace it? He's like, oh no, 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 ma'am. It's just something you to have. You know, we got to replace them every 30 years. I was like, well, I'm a firm believer you don't replace them till they go out. That motherfucker would die before I replace it. And so I was like, no to that. We're good there. I'm not gonna let you do that. We'll keep that shit pushing. He's like, well, when they get to humming, I said, well, why would it get to humming? He's like, because that's just what they do, ma'am. They get to humming, and then you're gonna be over here, and then you really gonna be in for it because it could short other stuff. And I was like, well, let it. I'll cross that bridge when it comes. But I'm not gonna give you $1,700 for something that work. I can flick on the light go on and off, and I don't hear no humming. We're good. This is the life. This is just not the life of home ownership. It's not even just women. They do this to men too. So when I see the trades and stuff like that, when people don't have like the work ethic, the business mind, this that I see it coming from a mile away. I be like, here we go. They finna hit you with the wham wham. Just same way when in here the faucet was leaking and D called the guy, and the guy was like, yeah, we're gonna have to cut a hole in the outside of the house to fix the sink under the to fix the underneath the sink, the P trap. And I was like, why the hell you gotta drill a hole on the outside? How that shit don't make no damn sense. That don't make sense. No. Listen, let me tell you something. When it come down to it, it's just best you know how to do it your own self. YouTube University has saved a lot of lives, saved a lot of money, a lot. But I don't need to raise it. It ain't nothing in that house that's ain't nothing but some TVs. Ain't nothing but some TVs running in that house and a stove that's gas. Well, I don't need to upgrade. Let me see. All right, cool. So we got off on the tangent. We got off on the tangent because we're talking about this best colleges or the top degrees, trades versus that, right? And this is and then what I just described to you is my experience with trades. It's been my entire experience with trades. You have somebody come over and look at replace what Dion did this too. At my mom's house, the toilet was running, and my mom would call the plumber, and he told her it's gonna be 250 to fix it to get the to stop it from running. Dion was like, that part ain't but $10. So I ordered it. First time she was like, I just turned it off. So she just turned the toilet off. And so then Dion we ordered the little part and we fixed it before we left. In fact it was on my way to Colorado. It was on my way to Colorado. Dion went in there and fixed it. And then my mom was like, well, that's all you had to do. She was like, yeah, you ain't gotta keep going upstairs just to go to the bathroom. You can and to this day it still works. $10 part, $250. Ain't no way. All right, let's run through this real quick. So theology and religion has a 842% ROI. Median wage, and we know this is not true, right? Because we know preachers make more than this, right? Do you really think that Uh, what's his name? Potterhouse makes 42,000. How much is he clear? Millions. Millions. Yep, TD Jakes. It said it's not publicly disclosed, but his net worth is between 20 and 30 million. That's what's reported. Private jets, Rolls Royces, the housing, the speaking engagements, the books, the ministries, the revivals, the whole nine, right? Social services, 13, I mean 1100, 1136. I want to hop here to the top five. I'm gonna hop down here. So anthology, 1516, leisure and hospitality. I'm not sure about where this falls under when they say leisure and hospitality. Is leisure and hospitality also inclusive of management? I'm not sure. Psychology, liberal arts, criminal justice, mass media, miscellaneous education. I'm not sure what fell under that. General social sciences, animal and plant sciences, education, special education, treatment, therapy, and commercial art and graphic design, foreign language, fine arts, performing arts, general education, and so forth. So this is what they're classifying. Which one's paying the most? And then they say a computer science major would theoretically have the highest ROI at 2899.45%. Generally, these graduates start with an annual income of 80,000 and have a lower student debt, paying around 31,000 over 10 years. Computer science majors also have the highest 10-year profit at 900,000. Several engineering majors posted high profit, a 10-year profit, right? A high of 10-year profits. But again, it's just a matter of where you see yourself, how fine tuned you are. Again, I think the one of the biggest things is, from what I see, this is generally where we fall in at right here. This is our thing right here. Social services, general education, performing arts, fine arts, is generally where we fall at. Not so much with treatment and therapy, maybe special education, general social sciences, mass media. I don't know where they put podcasters at now. I don't know if that falls under media, but leisure and hospitality, liberal arts, psychology, we fall into these categories here typically. Typically, is that a bad thing? Yes and no. The yes part is majority of our people fall into that. It's not a balance of people falling into other categories, and that's usually the problem. So when we take a look at it, right, when you're falling into these categories right here, when things come up here to modern approaches to closing skill gaps in the government, you're going to get left out. And that's typically what I see. So that's why we're always seeing lawyer, hairdresser, truck driver making the switch, right? You're making the switch. But when you make that switch, here's the other thing. When you make that switch, and this is not talked about, you make that switch to what people are saying, like they have glorified it, right? Oh, easy to make switch, now you get into sales. Easy to make the switch, now you get into cyber. Easy to make the switch, and now you do coding. And so you fall into those three categories. Typically, that's what I see, right? And maybe you may have did an AWS cert, and maybe you did a cloud, some cloud cert, maybe. And so that's the realm you fall under. Well, here's the other problem that I often see when you fall under that realm. Um, when you fall under that realm, those four categories, you guys tend to stay in those categories. What happens is there's a 5-year learning curve. So there's maybe the first year you get in, the second year you may start making the money that you want to see and you're learning the ropes. The third year you're like, I don't want to do this no more. I want to venture to something else. So now you're looking to pivot. So now you look for that pivot. You look for that pivot, you figure it out, and then you spend 2 years doing that. In the meantime, in between time, the acceleration of the people who have already been in tech is now exponential. And so you're on a 5-year turnaround time to get caught up. So, in order to speed that up, and this is why I always talk about this from this perspective, is you need to be able to look at the whole landscape. And the whole landscape is Linux, infrastructure, system architecture, platform engineering. Um, if it's not platform engineering, it's SRE, observability, all those things. So having that ability is super huge. However, you get locked into those other four or five categories, and you don't even know they exist until you've already gotten into it. And then the other piece is you lose your skill sets that you already had when you could have went a different direction and been okay with starting out somewhere else that was going to pay you more money within a year or so. I hope that makes sense for everybody, right? So let's keep going. So let's look at this modern skills gap that they're trying to explore. Hold on, let me make it bigger here, and let's go. All right. New research from the Association of Talent Development found that 76% of talent development professionals believe there is a significant skills gap in the government workforce. The cause are well known problems like retirement, high turnover, and difficulties adapting to new technologies. Yet the same research revealed that most government agencies, 72%, are still relying on traditional instructor led classroom training to address these gaps. While the classroom instruction has value, it no longer is the most effective approach to building the workforce of the future, considering the challenges of at all level face. This is why the conferences are important and the training is important, right? When you go to the conference, yes, meet other people, but get the free training, get the skills, take the labs, sign up for them, walk away with some books, some knowledge, something. So that way you can go back and incorporate into like how it fits in your world or help train up others and so forth, right? Government agencies at federal, state, and local levels are uniquely mission driven organizations. Every training initiative should reflect that mission, whether it's protecting citizen data, maintaining national security, or ensuring efficient delivery of public services. Today, learning and development teams are focusing on how to design learning strategies that are engaging, flexible, and aligned with both immediate needs and long term priorities. Below are four key approaches agencies can use to create more compelling training strategies and close the skill gap. Secure buy-in by connecting training to mission and priorities. Let me scroll down. Focus training where it matters most with targeted pilots. Other one, rethink resourcing with creative and cross agency solutions. And the last one, leverage training as a recruitment and retention advantage. A good training program can also be used as a key differentiator, one that can give the government an edge in attracting and retaining top talent. Private sector salaries often outpace the public sector pay, making it difficult to compete on compensation alone. If I can take my skill set and I can go over here and make 400,000, why the hell wouldn't I? Right? The private sector salaries often outpace the public sector, making it difficult to compete on compensation alone. Federal employees on average earn 24% less than workers in similar private sector jobs in 2024. Yet the government still offer important perks, including strong benefits, retirement security, and healthier work-life balance. This is only when they're talking about the GS positions, not the private, not when we're talking about contracting positions, right? Training can amplify these advantages, offering employees meaningful development opportunities, signals, and that agency is invested in their careers. For younger workers, in particular, professional growth ranks equal to pay. Training is not just a way to close a skill gap, but it is a recruiting tool and a retention strategy. And that is the thing I've been saying. So those of you that got your RCSA, like Heather, all you guys can start working on creating training programs, enrolling people into that training and so forth, even within the company itself, where you guys can roll out and keep being going across the actual company as well too. So just a FYI as well too. Derek, what's going on? How you been? You said I work at a community college. I believe that. That's why we have normal. That's why we have the normal for. I can't read it because there's a little thing in a way. That's why we have the normal for credit stuff and the workplace development programs. Yep. So again, when you guys are looking at what do you bring to the table, you bring skill set, you bring experience, you bring wisdom, you bring failures that and lessons learned from those failures. Those things are important. Those things are what you provide. Those are the nuances that you provide to a said company or said product or said um a said rollout for any type of training, right? Next one up. This is something I want to talk about here. I don't know if we're gonna have time for it. Let me look. I may not have time for it. So let me hit the highlights. I don't have time for this one for the dipping into your 401k. I don't have time for that one. Pickleball, we'll talk about that. Twilio stocks. I don't have time for that. I do want to talk about this. Let me pull this up because I really want to drive this home today. So let me look and see if I got my. Oh no, I know where I can go get it from. No. And I'm going to my email. So I wanted to talk about this today. Something that I have to go through this, but I wanted you guys to understand it. Um, okay. So, when my mom passed away, I have to go through um any 401k or IRA that she has or what have you. So you have what they call an inherited IRA, right? That's what you roll that 401k into, TSP plan or what have you. And you only get 10 years to get R&Ds, right? And so it treats it as additional money that you are taking. So in here, it talks about what this looks like. So where do you want to set one up at, right? So I grabbed one for I think financial, and then there's other ones that I want to check out, see how what their process is. So in here, you want to look at it because I want you guys to know yourselves as you get older, as your parents are getting older, or just in general, somebody in your family that may leave you an inheritance from a 401k or an IRA or SEP IRA or whatever the case may be, 403B plan. So here is available to all beneficiaries. Then you have the inherited traditional IRA or simple IRA, and they walk you through what you have to do there. And then available or when the original owner died on or after beginning period, you have to either check that or inherited Roth IRA, and then you go from there. But here's the one thing I want to show. Not that piece, this piece here. The examples that they have. So, yeah, here we go. All right. So I'm reading here examples right here, right? So it says you expect your total income to be 65,000, right? Without the payment. So in other words, without the RMD that's coming out. It says because your total income without the payment is 65,000, it's greater than 63,000, but less than the 118, you fall into the rate of 22%. So where are they getting it from? It's this here. So from that 63,000 here, and then the total income over 126 right here. So they're saying that's that, they're just showing you out, not over here, but for 118, but they're showing you here that's that 22%. If you were married, it would be the 126 or whatever. So you single, you fall between 65,000 falls between the 63 and the 118. So you're 22%, right? So let's go back to the example. But it also says step 2, because your total income with the payment is 85,000, because you're taking the 20,000 here, because you're taking out a 20,000 for a taxable amount. It is greater than the 63,000, but less. So your still rate is still that 22% because you fall in between. So because these two rates are the same, you enter 22% in the election section, right? So let's come down here to example 2. So this is something that you guys got to think about when you're looking at this. You expect your total income to be 61,000 without the payment, but remember you're taking out the 20 because your total income without the payment is greater than the 26,000 but less than the 63,000. The corresponding rate is 12%. Because your total income is now 81,000, now bumping you up, right? Now that you got bumped up, it's greater than that. Between 26 and 63, and so, but it's less than the 118. Yeah, now your new tax rate is 22%. The two rates differ. 2475 of that 20,000 is in the lower bracket, and they're talking about it here, and the 17,000 is in the higher bracket. And it's saying it says that the 20,000 less than a 20 is the 20,000 less than the 2475 that is the lower bracket. Multiply that by 12 to get the 297. Multiplying the 17,525 to get the 22%, to get the 3885. The sum of the two is what you get for tax. This is the estimated tax on your payment. This amount corresponds to the 21% of 20,000, and then you enter 21. So they're just showing you what you actually how you calculate your taxes. So your mom or your dad or significant other or whoever passed away, they leave you an IRA. You can't leave that money sitting in the IRA. You may be a beneficiary and you don't want to cash out all of that because that puts you up into another tax bracket. It could be 100,000, could be 400,000, could be 500,000. It could be a number of things of sitting out there with that IRA. However, that's divided up between taxable and untaxed, right? So then the other piece that you have to consider, because of the age of that person, if they're required to take RMDs, you got to take RMDs, and you only have a 10-year window in order to take them in. And so, looking at this is how these things are calculated. Remember, you're going to have to also have taxes on that money as well too when it comes out. So these are I wanted to talk a little bit more about this today. I'll probably talk about it next week, but I just want to give y'all the insight of when you're thinking about how you set up your retirement and how you set your beneficiaries up, making sure they don't have taxable events as they mature and as you mature in life. So how to prevent those taxable events on their end. Nobody ever talks about this, but you yourself, and I said this before online, is those that are leaving money behind, it is your duty to make sure people don't spend the wealth that you generated. Don't put that on someone else. You can't you can't be the mother or the father and you guys got 4 million and 5 million in a in an insurance policy. And then when you or the other person dies or both parents die, you guys are expecting this child who may be 30 years old to take in 4 or 5 million and do the right thing. Well, we raised them right. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter how much you educated them. You got to put things in place so that way that money is protected throughout their life, that their children's life, and continues to be handed down over and over and over again. And you can do that, right? And you all can do that. You don't have to wait until you pass away to set that up. You can literally do that. You can literally have things set up where, hey, we got this stuff set up. When we pass away, you're gonna get a little money. Like I said before, you can do a spendthrift, a spendthrift trust. Excuse me. Well, they only get a certain amount of money every year, right? Now, maybe they only get 20,000 every year, and every month they get, a monthly stipend of that 20,000. And you can set that up and you can put that money in, let it play the stock market and go from there. But again, don't be that person where you're letting the children pick and choose how to take that wealth that you've generated and spend it in one generation. Typically it is lost in, I think they say the second generation is lost. What is it? Maybe third. Hold on. It says 90% of a family wealth is lost by the third generation. So it would be if you had children and then your children had children and then that last generation. So by the time the third generation roll out, that's it's already sopped up like a biscuit. It's gone. All right. So I just want to keep that out there. All right, let me make sure I ain't missing nothing in the comments here. Yep, connect with the authors because sometimes they're at the conferences. Yep, yep. Make sure I miss nothing. Yeah, yep. All right. I'm glad y'all got a chance to hang out with us today. I mean I got a ton of stuff that I wanted to go over. I'll save it for next week. When was the last time we did a show? Has it been over a month? I'm not sure. But again, O'Shea, Linux, the hobbyist, appreciate you for coming out. Jerome, Heather, everyone, we appreciate you. Thank you, AMW, for your tech ties. Y'all have a good weekend. Enjoy yourself. And just remember that, like, get a second opinion on all the things that you do, right? Even a third opinion. And stay safe.